Just got out the shower, I'm a bit wet. Maybe I could put it up there. That might be better. Wonder if it'll cut me off again like it did last night.
I don't know. I've just got a few replies. Someone says it could be a freesia.
Freesia?
I have to Google it.
Yeah, freesia.
F-E-E-S-I-A-S.
It's a little bulb actually.
Well, it's the bulb, and I'll look after it because it's really pretty.
We gotta wait until it stops flowering and dig down. As you know, I don't know much about flowers. I know plenty about vegetables. Flowers look pretty, but I don't have a great deal of interest in them.
Oh, it is. Freesia is a something flowering plant in the something family. I can't even read the words.
Does it
First,
bulb?
as I'm trying to find, first described as a genus in 1866 by Christian Friedrich from Germany. Scientific name, did you know? Freesias go well from Tasmania, Queensland. Freesias do not need heavy fertilising and seem to perform well in all soil types.
Wish the rain stopped.
Freesia bulb plant.
So it's a bulb.
Yeah, wide range of colours and floral fragrance make it hard to resist with up to 8 trumpet-shaped upward pointing blossoms. Make a delightful cut flower that lasts a long time in a vase. Oh, I'll have to.
I don't think we ever sold freesias.
Freesia can be planted in autumn for flowering inside from January to April or from March in the greenhouse or April to July outside.
So it wouldn't probably stand the heat by the sound. I don't think it would stand the heat then.
It says it's planted outside until July for flowering almost up until Christmas. Plant straight in the ground, well drained soil, sun or shade.
Oh, it's got basically
Freesias
full
are
sun.
perennial bulbs
Yeah, so they are bulbs for
that
the
flower during summer.
Yep.
Flower is available in pink, blue, white. I've got the white, yellow one. Well, that's exciting. That's really pretty.
But like I say, if you just leave it and then just keep watering it, and then at the end of summer it'll die off, but all the bulbs will be formed underneath, just like those bulbs we found in the garden over in the other street. Hello, Riley Weaver. Good evening. We found a flower in the middle of nowhere in our garden. It's a freesia. Pretty white flower. Whereabouts are you, Riley? I mean, country. I don't need to know your address. relegated to our very small front porch for several months because we're doing extensions out the back. Melbourne. Well, you know what cold weather's like. We whinge when it gets to like 14. It's really cold. But our heat's coming shortly. Yeah, we're in Perth. Like I say, lived here most of my lives and we're used to the heat. We did live a year in Tasmania. Beautiful state, but bloody freezing. Lived in New South Wales. Spent last winter in New South Wales and it's the coldest winter. We lived over there for about 5 or 6 years between Riverstone and Richmond. But it was the coldest winter I've ever experienced in the east. Hello, Kathy. Just saying, the wife found a white flower growing in the front lawn, which we haven't done anything with, and she's discovered it's a freesia. So she's going to let it grow, and at the end of the season, when it dies off, dig up the bulbs. Pretty flower, isn't it? Beautiful flower I can show them. You took a picture, didn't you?
I don't know how well they're going to see
I'll go
it.
sideways. You might not be able to see it, but I shall try and show it to you. Take it on a bit of an angle. That's not going to work out too good. Not really. Anyway, take my word for it. It's a pretty looking flower. It's just growing in the middle of grass.
People are calling it a weed, but if you put it in a pot, you can control it better.
No, freesias, you can buy them. It's similar to the yellow in it's similar to a buttercup yellow in the middle of the flower, and then ice white around the edges. You sort of notice it because the front yards, we're going to dig it all up. We're putting pavers all at the front, so we're not worrying about the grass. But against the green of the grass, this thing just stood out. You saw it yesterday, didn't you? Or was it this morning?
This morning.
This morning. But we've had rain all day. It's stopped now, which is good. Kathy says, hi, Mrs. Seeds.
I'll be honest, I'm just answering all these comments I'm getting now because I've put it on my local page and I've got like 20 people now going, what? Very helpful.
So you should put the picture of the mandarin tree on there and saying that we'd like to keep it, but the fruit's not that good. Maybe someone's got some solutions.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Might just need a heavy prune.
People are getting right into it now, saying that they used to be all over the place because people now weed and do fake lawns and all stuff. You don't see many around.
No, actually,
So I need to save it.
that little cottage garden we put in, I've been looking around when we've been driving around, I don't see many of that either.
No.
People just don't do little gardens like that anymore. Don't know why. No, I'm not a big flower person because I like to grow something you can eat, but it does look nice. So at the front, you can't see it, but at the front there's 40 tonne of yellow sand, and there will be altogether probably a couple of 100 tonnes of yellow sand to build up to get to the level of the old cottage.
A boon for insects. So what does that mean?
Means it attracts insects, so it'd be good for veggie gardens and things like that. Mind you, we put marigolds in our veggie gardens and that attracts the bees.
Yeah.
Hello, Hannah. We're just villain like a chillin'. We are. We got a lot of work coming up soon, a lot of earthworks, and the brickies come in. And that plane seems low. Looks like two planes to me, but it's only one, isn't it? Did a right angle turn. The airport's probably 4 mile away, 5 mile away, but we can see it because we're up high. We can see the tower. We get to see the planes as they take off. They're all going on holiday. So every time I see a plane in the air, I think they're going on holiday. Oh yeah, no, we follow your weather. Hurricane Dorian is wheeling its way towards the Florida east coast. Last time I looked, it could clip Melbourne, which is halfway up the panhandle. But you can't, like hurricanes and like cyclones in Australia, you can follow all the models you like. The one thing is the hurricane doesn't follow anything. It may vary in the way it moves. It doesn't look that big. It's not a really big hurricane, but it's very intense. No question about that. But it's not big. I mean, I've seen much bigger hurricanes in the US than that one, but it's very intense. And the poor people of the Bahamas, I think Grand Bahama's copping it right now. But we get 4 or 5 a year here, and I don't think the US media would follow Australian cyclones. If you
join the WA Gardeners group.
Someone's asked you to join. Didn't take long, did it?
I gotta wait to be approved.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Bahamas is that, like, well, probably better than the Florida, but the Bahamas have a lot of low-lying tourist areas. So I hope there's not been a great deal of loss of life. That would be terrible. But it was a very powerful storm hitting the Bahamas. You get winds up around 200 mile an hour. You just can't do anything. That's a tornado force wind. Not much you can do. You've just got to bunker down and try and get high as you can, but in a nice, safe, secure building. But sadly, I believe we will lose people. There's not much like I say. What I read last week was the Bahamas were most unlikely to get hit. Something like about a 5% chance. Well, that was following the models. That's what I said about the model saying it'll miss Florida. So, I don't know. For me, I think it'll bounce along the Florida coast, and Florida's just low-lying, as you know. You live there, Kathy. It's a bit better the further up the coast you go, but right down the bottom of Florida, you've virtually got houses on the water. Yeah, you just don't know. I mean, like in Australia, when we have cyclones, it's a hurricane. We call them cyclones. They always kill people, but they generally kill people through flooding. You know, you'll have rivers backflow into smaller towns that are hundreds of kilometres away from the coast. There was a terrible one where something like 32 people died in a town because the whole town just got washed away. It has been for many years. The European model, look, when they say the American model and the European model, I think there's a bit of a crossover. I mean, they're just using the same instruments, satellite, moisture levels. But the US model does include flybys I think they do it every hour. They go into the eye and they'll go in a crisscross fashion. But no matter what happens with this hurricane, it will be devastating because it's going to be at best just bouncing off the coast, which means you'll have lots of flooding in rivers. You'll have, at worst, it will take a turn towards the coast, and then some of the towns might get destroyed. I mean, Cyclone Tracy was in 1974 in Australia, and it wiped the whole town out. And these towns were built to withstand what they thought cyclonic hurricane winds, but the speed gauge blew out at 290 kilometres an hour, which is basically about 200 mile an hour, and it got higher than that. Just whole parts of the city were just blown away. It's pretty safe apparently. I mean, planes do hit jet streams, and you'll often be on a jet plane somewhere and they'll say we're just punching into the breeze at the moment. They'll say we've got a 600 knot jet stream we're riding, we're trying to go a little bit higher to avoid it. So aerodynamically planes can handle it, but I don't know, going into the eye of a hurricane there's always lightning, but they must know what they're doing, and they do a fine job. You won't hear about it. It used to be used all the time, Kathy, you might remember, but they used to use ocean buoys as an indicator as well. An ocean buoy used to have barometric pressures on them, temperature gauge, which they all do now, and also sea height, in other words, what changes when the cyclone or hurricanes go over them. But I've never heard them used in the last 10 to 15 years, the ocean sea buoys. Oh, but the only thing, I never worry about flying, it's landing, because it's a controlled crash, let's be honest. Plane just drops out of the sky. Taking off, not worried. Flying, not worried. But landing always gets my attention. I'm thinking, okay, this is the bit where we meet Earth again. That's where the damage can occur. I think I can only recall one really bad flight that I've ever been on, turbulence-wise. Yeah, the barometers were attached to the buoys along with temperature gauge. It can change why they do them. Years ago they used to use them for fishermen so they could tell you when the currents would change as well, which would mean when certain crabs, lobsters, was a good time to put your pots in. Actually, I know loads of people that won't fly on a plane, which restricts you, of course. You can't go very far. And I don't fancy being on a boat for weeks. But some people I know just won't fly. They go, no. And when you look at an aeroplane, you stand outside and look at an aeroplane and think, how the hell does that get off the ground? We all know the theories and how it works, but it seems like a lot of weight to get off the ground. Give a quick hello to the missus. She's busy talking to... Can they see you?
Not really.
Ooh, you're like a ghostly
it's
figure.
Like a ghost now for tonight's ghost story.
She's watching a report on the flowers and she's getting...
Once upon a time, there was...
a wild beast. That's what she's doing. She's talking about that flower to hundreds of people now. Yeah, I mean, like the US, to fly from the East Coast to Western Australia, it's 5 hours. And they're travelling at a fair speed. So it takes 5 hours to cross our continent. Where we are, everywhere's a long way away. But I don't. Flying doesn't bother me. Like so, I do take attention when we start. We're about to land. Passengers, cabin crew, armed doors. What? Who's got the guns? Yeah. So it's like we are coming to the US. Actually, I just did a few checks today on prices, just looking at certain dates. And for us to fly business class from here to New York and back on a 5 or 6 week stay over there, but the flight's only about 11,000 US Australian, which is about 7.5 US, which is pretty good. Business class. It's funny, but there's lots of. We're very close to the Asiatic region, like Thailand, Bali, places like that, and we can fly there for like $200 there and back. But if I wanted to fly to Sydney and back, it could cost me $1,000. Domestic flights are just horrid in price. I look at a few, because we might fly a few little spots from the east coast of America, like go from New York to, say, Quebec, Montreal, Toronto, do little hops like that, and they're really cheap. They're like 100 US one way, which is pretty cheap. A lot of them are only like an hour flight. You just got to look around when you take your seat on an aircraft. You look around the cabin, you can see the nervous flyers. They're just biting the fingernails. I mean, it might sound cruel, but if your plane does come down and crash...
Can you stop talking about that?
No, I'm just saying, it's like, well, it's over and done with in like...
Gee, thanks. What bin did he just put out?
I don't know.
Just one?
It's just one green bin. Want me to go and do it?
I'll do it.
No, I'll do it.
It's fine. You talk to your girlfriends.
No, I'll go and do the bin. You talk to your girlfriends.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I always do it.
We'll do it.
Get up there.
I'll film you doing it. There we go. Yeah, okay. You can't really see that. I don't know whether I can get a vision of that. Maybe if I go here, we've got a whole heap of sand dumped at the front of our place. Not a very good picture, so you might not see it. That's 40 tonne of sand. Oh, you want to show them how we do our bins?
America.
Oh, right, okay.
It'll be different in America. See the moon?
Oh, there's the moon. Spooky.
No, so we've got two bins out. It is both bins today. Look.
Well, here, you hold the camera and I'll go and do the other bin. Yeah,
Oh, look, I'm here now.
I'll do it.
Jesus, arguing with me. These children, I know. Take you for a walk down the street. We'll do some chooching. Let's go, ladies, come on. Right, where do you want to go? Should we walk down this way in the dark? I'm in my pyjamas, mind you. I said, well, let's go do chooching.
I don't think so.
I hope it doesn't. Wouldn't you love to run up on that sand hill? I would. I would just love to run up there and jump in it.
Go on, I'll film you. You'll be covered from head to toe in yellow sand.
I wanted to do it this afternoon and you wouldn't let me.
And look, we've got a blue box at the front.
Oh, the TARDIS.
Looks like the TARDIS, but it's actually a dunny. A toilet, on-site toilet for the builders.
Did you do the bin right?
You question me?
Yes.
It's fine. There we go. Bin run done. Don't know if that's on there. Better. It's not too bad tonight. Has been bitterly cold at night, but not tonight. We've probably had an inch of rain today, which is unusual. We had winds up to about a mile an hour.
We're being spied on
About
by,
50 mile an hour,
just whispering to the screen, we're being spied on by across the road.
are we? So we got an infrared camera.
Yeah.
Have you got any tobacco over there?
No, you won't have that much to get
No, I'm going to get some. You talk to your people.
I just have this and let me do it. It's easier because I'm here.
Whinge, whinge, whinge.
Oh, shut up.
Whinge, whinge, whinge.
Stop your whinging. Hannah's already said children to stop fighting.
Oh, the big door.
Let's let go. I'll do it.
It's a really small porch. But it will be a very big one when we're finished. No, it's builder's sand, so it takes a lot of rain. Won't affect it. Very fine yellow sand. That'll all be gone in about 20 minutes tomorrow. They're bringing a loader around to take it round the back. Probably about 200 tonne of sand going in to get our level. Which is a lot of sand. We've got very sandy soil too, so it drains very quickly. We're lucky that way. And for gardens, you're better off having a sandy soil because you can always build it up. You can add all the organic material into sand and you can make it a very good soil basis. But when you've got clay, that's a bit of a nightmare. Breaking down clay and adding fibre to it and making it sort of pliable is very hard. But sand, you can certainly improve sand very quickly. I'm tempted, even though I shouldn't, to put just maybe a half a dozen tomato bushes in. The noise factor. No, we're in a very quiet area. But you're talking about the building. Well, there'll be noise with the building occurring, but not that much. Okay. Danny G says, hello Mrs. Seeds. I'm not talking to Mr. Seeds because I have a new lover. Hello Danny G. Mighty fine old ass woman. Nah, there'll be a bit of noise, but not a great deal. Probably talking. The main noise comes when you actually pitch your roof, nail guns and things like that. coming out of the shower, my hair is getting a bit of length about it, but it just goes curly. When I was younger, my hair was all dark and curly, wasn't it?
How young? I didn't know you when you were real young.
Well, you've got photos of me when I was like 14.
Like looking at that Playboy magazine.
Yes, well, I have to learn somewhere. I wouldn't say that. See, when I get a bit more length, it'll be better. See, there's a bit of a fashion statement. One side like that, the other I'm back. What do you reckon? I look a bit like Cooper.
Yeah.
If Cooper
Well,
was
here's
if
your
Cooper
son.
was 70.
Here's your son, there you go.
There we go. Just goes really curly. I just need a crown. I could be Edward V. On the way to work, using voice to text, so if something types out wrong, I apologise. Well, that worked out pretty good. Not one spelling mistake in that at all.
Oh, that's cool. Using speech to text.
I think we can do it on our phones. I've just never
Yeah,
done.
but mine never comes out right.
I've never done it. I caught a little bit of Vinny's hangout, being belligerent with nurses, which was to be expected. What else did I see today?
Just been mainly watching the cyclone.
I watched the Hurricane Channel.
We've been keeping an eye on that.
Danny G has a clear voice and a yell. Dominatrix.
Hey Mel!
Hello, Mel. So Danny's going to blame voice text for her crappy spelling. Actually, she's done pretty good. Maybe the voice to text spells better than sometimes when you text.
That's the auto correct.
Did you cop all that rain today, Mel? We got about an inch of rain again. It's unbelievable. Whoos whoos. Hello, Ginger Cat.
That's a ginger. He won't.
What if he's going to go and do something in the sand?
Oh wow, that's a big kitty litter.
Yeah, it's a big kitty litter bowl. Hello,
Kathy.
Michelle. I'm the same when it comes to
That's funny.
technology. My kids will point out a feature on a phone that I never knew existed. I think I was talking the other night. Actually, when I was doing a hangout last night, it just cut me off and it said connection ended on Streamlabs. But I don't know what that meant. But when I went to my YouTube site about an hour later, the video was there, but it was still live. So I don't know what happened.
Well, the router got turned off today, so hopefully it won't buffer. Needed to be reset.
Yeah, I'm on the house modem at the moment. The old bus goes by.
The 55
No one on board.
goes
Spooky.
bust.
It looks like a biblical character.
Yeah, don't
Well, Mel,
start.
you've got a biblical name. You know that, don't you? You have. Yes, my child, have you something to confess?
Oh, God, you're gonna do
Young
confession
Mel.
for everyone.
I won't tell anyone. Just puts the loudspeaker on the confession box. Listen up, everyone.
Hey, Yen. That
Yes,
glass,
Mel, what did you do?
The glass behind you. See?
Yeah, it looks a bit sort of like a church glass, doesn't it? Do you have any confessions, Mel? How many Hail Marys will you have to say?
That's right, Kathy. We get our grandkids, our 10-year-old grandkid. Can you fix this for Oma, please? Can you get this electronic going? And they do it.
He just said, and he'll say things like, he's 10 years old, and he'll say, why can't you figure it out? Like, is supposed to know. Imagine if all of us had to go to a confession box. Well, probably before Jesus, I was more like Moses. Hello, print. Give me a home amongst the gum trees, with lots of plum trees, a sheep to shag or two. Do 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 do. Ah, time is fleeting. Every time I have a shower, my hair just goes all fluffy like Doris Day.
Yeah, we're telling that all the time, Mel. Same as voiceovers.
Yes. I was once asked to join a radio station, believe it or not. And I think I told the story. I had 2 jobs that were offered to me. I was doing survey work at the time. One guy said, "You'd do great in radio, you should think about it seriously, come down and see me." I went, "Oh, righto." Another guy said, "No, you're a big and strong fella, how about you come work in the funeral industry?"
Hey, Danny, I don't know that song. I'll have to Google
Scorpions. You don't know the group, the Scorpions?
I know the group Scorpions, but I've never heard that song. Rock like a rock. Well, that's probably why they've done it, maybe.
We got 40 tonne of sand out the front, Danny. That's only the beginning.
How's work going, print?
I will get back to doing storytelling. I've got a few on my channel. I'm not very good at categorising them, so you'd have to hunt them down. I do like stories that have a meaning and a reason to be told. They're good because you can tell your grandkids that type of story. You know, like the moral of the story is. Yeah, we just got tons of sand delivered today. Got an outdoor electrical socket put on, mainly for the builders, but it's going to be where my carport will be anyway, so it'll get double use.
Mel, I so want to run all over the heaps of sand.
She wants to go and play in the sand.
Yeah, so much fun. Mind you, all the local stray cats are going to think it's heaven. It's a massive kitty litter.
He's just updating his profit and loss sheet. Just actually paid for an extension of our business name. You have to register your name in Australia, so no one else can steal it. I think 3 years cost about $80 odd. Even though we're not actually doing it at the moment. It'd be just too hard to do the business here at the moment.
Oh, I don't have the room either.
No. So what did you have for dinner tonight, Mel? I made a scrumptious beef stew yesterday. Kathy, it's a vegetable organic seed business. Ta-da! Hence the name, Seeds to Freedom. But we'll put it in hiatus until we get completed. Sunchao, oh, I love that green stuff. Was that with hoisin? Black bean? Yum. It annoys me though, Mel, like when you go down to buy some of the green stuff, they want to sell it in bunches of 3. Like you only need like 1 or maybe 2, but you've got to buy 3. Hello, VMAC. Oh, person must be an American. He just drove on the right inside the road for 100 yards. Yes, I do like that flavour. Do you know what annoys me? Unless you go to an Asian shop in Perth, Mel, you won't find the bigger wonton sheets. You know what I mean? You always get those little square, I think they're about 3.5, 4 inches. They're just not big enough. And you can make dumplings out of them, like whatever you like, little tiny spring rolls, but I prefer the bigger ones. In Sydney, there was an Asian shop, they had any size you like, from really, 10 inch by 10 inch. But I'm sure there's an Asian shop somewhere around in Perth that we've missed. Maybe that one near Northbridge. Yeah, just the small ones. They only sell the small ones. I mean, the fresh ones I'm talking about.
My chocolate fountain
So-
ladies in the room.
You can say hello to the boss.
Hello.
I don't know whether we...
He's just chucking his around. Just drop the phone.
Hold the phone underneath your face.
Hold
Not
on.
this one, that one.
Oh,
So look at this and then
I'm doing it. Look, it looks spooky, and you're so close. Tonight's ghost story is brought to you by Jesus.
Tonight's ghost story is the Mandra Mauler. Now we're right at the front. We're on the little porch out the front. A lot of people get home late because they work. But it's a pretty quiet area we're in. Must be my turn to go make a cuppa, I suppose.
I'll do it in a second.
No, I'll do it.
I'm sitting down here at your feet like a disciple.
Yeah, well,
It's
that
easier
means
that
you
I
can
get
sit.
up.
You can sit in the chair and talk to your people. Lead them to the promised land.
Lead them to the promised land.
Oh, I tell you what I did get today on special, Mel. We had one each, and they're okay. They're a Coles brand
Custard.
ice cream. It's custard covered in chocolate wafer,
So like a Magnum, but
Yeah.
it's custard inside.
And for $4 it was $1. So we got a couple of packets.
Because I think they're getting rid of them, and they are yum.
But not bad. I don't know whether they're on special at yours, but $1 for 4. I think they're normally like $6 or something. And I got some yum lamb offcuts. The ones like mini loin chops. You sit down, I'll go make it.
I don't know if I should have another one.
Do you want tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee.
Anyone else want a coffee?
Either one will make me pee.
Anyone in particular? Would you like coffee? Marty! Quick, let's go! Back to the
It
future.
doesn't matter if I have tea or coffee this time, and I'll be up all night peeing anyway. Just thought I'd share that with you, all. This light doesn't do a lot for you, make you look good in the night, does it? Yes, sales are good. People walk past and see me sitting up here talking to the phone, and I think, what's she doing? We could run away. I could take his phone, we could run off somewhere. So what's everybody going to be doing? I have a coffee in front of me. One more and I become human. Yeah, well, see, it's 8:30 at night here. And I really shouldn't have another one because I'll be out peeing all night. I got the Reese peanut butter ice cream cones this week. Okay. I'm not that keen on the Reese ice cream. But we bought, what did we buy? We got it on sale the other day too. Streets in a tub, in a small tub, Mel. They were $2. There was the chocolate and there was cookies and cream. They're nice. I'll have to try that peanut butter ice cream though. And it's strange how it's bloody freezing weather and I've really been enjoying the ice cream. I have a Labor Day public holiday day, so I'm grating a ton of carrots for the salad. So what's the salad you're making, VMAC? Today we're... Oh, it's your Labor Day in the US. Okay. So, get together with family, friends, barbecues and stuff like that. I think we have a bit of lag. So, tomorrow hopefully they'll move all that sand because it's actually spilling on the footpath, which is not allowed. Curry's carrot salad. Curried carrot salad. Well, that sounds interesting, BMAC. Is it involved? Can you put in here like what's involved to do it? And I'll make Seeds make it. So you have fireworks and all that with your Labor Day? Well, we're supposed to be getting thunderstorms in the morning, so that could be interesting with all that sand out the front. Grate the carrots, make a curry dressing, and I have to read my phone. And raisins and nuts. Yeah, Mel, it's going to be the same tomorrow apparently. Thunderstorms in the morning. So grate the carrots, make a curry dressing. I would leave the raisins out, but I would add the nuts. So just a mild curry dressing, I suppose. Curry powder mixed with oil and stuff like that, VMAC? Because that does sound nice. Yeah, I like pine nuts. Oh, we have to leave the side gates open tonight in case the truck comes with the last load of sand. And I know Seeds won't sleep well because any noise he'll hear, he'll think someone's in the backyard. I should set up a string of bells across there, shouldn't I? No, actually that could be dangerous. Maybe I better not. Curry powder, minced onion and cayenne. Ooh. I want to drop a lime. Yeah, actually, Mel, we're the same when if we've got to listen out for something. Yeah, we don't sleep that well either, to be honest. Because having to leave got a gate that way, a small one. We've sort of got to leave that unlocked as well, and then that side is a double gate. So, but, oh, we're buffering. I don't know, I think our internet's shit. So that's your contribution, VMAC. What other foods will be there? I like to know what food people take to things like that, because it gives you ideas when we do stuff. I'll just whisper, somebody's walking past, so I won't speak too loud. And I think it's raining. Oh, good. Okay, I have arrived at... Okay, you have a great day, Danny. Give everyone a hug and kiss. You're in the hospital or whatever. Oh, here comes Jesus. It's just starting to sprinkle. I don't know if you leave your phone up there when it sprinkles.
No, it should be okay. Hello. Cheers.
VMAC is making a curried carrot salad. She's got, I have to read back to tell you.
Curry
Hey JP.
carrot salad. G'day, JP. I imagine that involves,
She's written it down. I'll go back and read it to you in a minute.
if it's a curry, I've had curried vegetables before.
No, so what it is, you grate the carrot, then you make a curry dressing, and that consists of mayo, curry powder,
Yeah.
minced onion, cayenne,
hmm So is it like a coleslaw curry?
pine nuts and raisins, which I said I'd leave the raisins out.
Yeah, I like raisins.
Yeah, so it sounds nice.
Nothing wrong with curry. Sometimes when you make a soup and you just want a little edge to it, but you don't want it really curry, you get a separate saucepan, put a bit of butter, curry powder, and cook it off for about 2 or 3 minutes, medium heat, and tip it in the curry.
No, I'm not Mary Magdalene.
Oh yeah? Get on the horse naked.
No, that's Danny G.
Yeah, I can see Danny G naked riding through the streets of Coventry. Yeah, I can see that.
And the guy saying, what is it?
There's a mighty fine ass old lady there. And the horse looks good too.
No, it's a carrot
Yeah,
salad.
that's what I thought.
With
Sounds
carrot.
good. Go well with some sausages.
Well, you'd have it. Luna didn't have the sausages.
No, she doesn't eat meat.
JP, we've got heaps of sand out the front, and Seeds won't let me jump on it.
No, you can go for it. I'll just have to hose you down before you come in there. What's happening in JP's world? Must be a holiday coming up real soon, off memory. This month, I think, isn't it, JP? JP's a bit of a jet setter. Yeah, holidays are good.
Well, JP, don't live your holiday through the camera lens. Enjoy it, but every now and then, do a little video that you can put up to YouTube so you can share with us. Yeah, the cats might have already used it as a kitty litter.
Oh, I thought the rain had gone away, but it's back again. Man, we've had some rain. Which is good, like I say, we don't get much. Not complaining. This time next year I'll have my rainwater tanks full. You got any rainwater tanks at home, JP?
You're going on a scooter, JP. I hope you've got bloody good insurance.
Doesn't cover you, actually.
I would not do that over there.
Good on you, buddy. Very kind of you. I had all my kids call me. It's one of those hard things. Australia's a big place, so not everyone can be in the same place at the same time. But they all contact me, which is great. Yeah, no, I can ride a motor scooter. Oh, this one just wouldn't go on the back of it. No way.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, the price of,
Yeah, but
unless you're going to go, and you're obviously going to go looking around, that's the reason you'd have a scooter. Stop whenever you like, get a feed whenever you like. But it's not expensive to hire a driver for the whole day. But yeah, no, if this one would jump on the back of a scooter, I'd take her, but she won't. Yeah, that's right, it's got to be limited. I think the ones you get over there about 110s, 100s, JP, just off memory.
well, VMAC, we hope it doesn't rain for you.
Yeah, the scooters are great, particularly in where JP's going. There's lots of windy hills and little villages pop up everywhere.
Wow, haven't seen you in ages, Hamid.
G'day, Hammers. But the the rain we get, I think our average is, Sydney's a lot more than where JP lives. A lot more than what we are. We're talking, we get 10, 12 inches of rain a year is average. When I used to live in Darwin, you could get that in a day, and I'm not kidding you. But we get very little. That's the problem with Canada. Just as you start to get a heap of water, then the winter hits. Not good. Yeah, in the old days, people used to plumb them into their kitchen, JP, so you'd have fresh rainwater. Because I'd go around to your place and open up the valve on your rainwater tank and just drink it. I know a few Americans would be aghast,
Well,
thinking it came off the roof and you're drinking it, but done it all my life.
I grew up with rainwater tank, and the sad part was no rain, dry. Mum would have to buy water.
Yeah.
Didn't happen often, and then guess what? The next day it rained,
Yeah, I was
and
there.
the tanks, all that water went to waste because it
They got
overflowed.
5,000 gallons of water brought in. It cost them $100. But they were just finishing it off. The clouds come over, and I swear to you, 3 hours later, they would have had enough rain to fill the tanks. But they didn't know that. Yeah, that would have been funny, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll kill you. Get me off this damn thing.
Yeah, I've been on motorbikes, I've ridden bikes. I just wouldn't do it over in the Asian countries.
I used to, when I was probably 14 till I was about 15, I did motocross. And I was pretty good at it. And I went to Sydney, and there was a tournament. And we were doing warm-up laps around the bottom basin. And then we went around the track the first time. And I followed a group of guys, and they were gunning it up this particular hill. So I gunned it up the hill, but they were taking a hard right. I just went straight over the damn hill, down the back into the rubbish tip. And my helmet was split. Luckily I was wearing my helmet. The rock that I hit without the helmet would have been the end of me. And that ended my career because I thought, stuff this. I was good at it, but I thought, nah. I did a little bit of hot rodding around the tracks as well. I used to love racing, but I got a few mates that didn't make it after a few years, crashed in racing and motorbikes. And one thing about a car, you have a chance to survive. In a motorbike, very limited. I use most of my rainwater for the gardens. And I'll drink it. We will get a kettle that we can just top up at the rainwater tank and put it on the stove, because we love rainwater for coffee and tea. It's hard to explain to people, but no fluoride in it. You know when you boil your water sometimes and it's got fluoride and you can smell it. It's awful. Rainwater, nothing. Yeah, I remember there was a hoon in the main street in Geraldton where I used to live, and he was half pissed, and he was jumping out just trying to scare drivers, just doing stupid shit like coming from behind a car going woo. Well, apparently there was a big truck with big wing mirrors on it, and he came out and went woo, and the wing mirror killed him instantly. I like a Harley. A mate of mine had a Harley, but it had a sissy bar on it. I'm thinking, you don't take it off. He said, nah, it looks cool. I said, it looks like a girl's bike. One of the things I really did like racing was, I forget what they call it in America, it's called sidecar here, which is a motorbike with a passenger and a little well, and you lean over and take the corner. That was great fun. That was really cool. I always liked to be driving the bike though. I didn't like to be in the bucket, as I called it. So that was cool fun. I think they still race that sort of thing, but it's not as common as it used to be.
Yeah, what you do, Kathy, is I grew up with rainwater tanks, and Dad used to put a couple of drops of kerosene when the tank was full on top, and it would spread out, keep the mozzies away. When it got down to the bottom, he'd clean the tanks out.
Yeah, I mean,
so we never had problems.
you know, like when you give your kids an eye drop of something for medicine, you know, that little squeezy eye drop thing? All you do is get a little cap of kerosene, tiny little bit, and you suck it up in the thing and put it in the top of your rainwater tank. No mozzies.
And that never affected the
And it
water.
doesn't float down to the bottom, it just
No.
stays on top. And each year you kick your tank over, empty it and clean it out with the hose. People that have rainwater tanks and never clean them, that's why you get shit in there. But kerosene, you can't drink kerosene because it'll kill you. But just a tiny little drop, what it does, it spreads out. It's got microbility. A little drop goes the whole tank. Of course, mosquitoes can't stick their larvae through that very thin layer. It kills them. That's the old remedy anyway. Just keep your tank clean is the only remedy really though.
And you have like I suppose it looked like a sieve in the hole to stop leaves and other shit getting
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
you have filtration systems. Sand filter if you want to, or pebble filter, or a bit of both. But I remember as a kid, you wouldn't come across a house without a rainwater tank. And in my state, in some areas, because of the water restrictions, you can't build a new house unless you have in the plans rainwater tanks to supplement your water.
Oh, comes the police.
But a lot of people aren't conscious of water. They just take it for granted. I'm not having a go at anyone, but when you brush your teeth, just turn your tap on and wet your toothbrush, turn it off. Put your toothpaste on, brush your teeth, tap's off, all right? Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, you know what I mean. Then turn it on, rinse your toothbrush, rinse your mouth out. You'd probably use 3 cups of water. If you turn your tap on anywhere in the world, every minute the tap's on, it's about 2 gallons of water. So what does that mean? Well, if you run the tap for 5 minutes, 10 gallons of water to brush your teeth.
Yeah, that's what we had, the big
Yeah, they're
corrugated
the normal
metal.
ones. The new ones are pretty good, but they're pretty expensive. I think for about 3,000 litres, it's probably about $700, but that's a new fiberglass. Hello, Blinky.
Hey, Blinky.
Yeah, I could walk up to Blinky's house, go to the rainwater tank, drink, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. Blue water barrels have goldfish in them. Well, you can eat them as well. I've never feared rainwater tanks, ever. I used to have acreage, and on the property I had 3 2,000 gallon rainwater tanks. But I had a huge shed because I had a soft drink franchise. So I did all my storing in there, but that shed gave me just a mass amount of water. It's brilliant. And 2,000 gallons of water is not a lot of water, but it's a good amount of water. But I know I've spoke to Americans for years. I know there's a lady you've seen in here a couple of times called Arky. Now she'll collect rainwater with a blue tarp and put it in one of them big, what do they call them things? Totes.
Totes.
Big totes. And that's fine. If you're ever doubtful and you are living like off-grid like Arky is, you got any fears of, just boil the bloody thing. If you boil water at boiling temperature for 1 minute, everything's dead. Nothing can kill you. Yeah, when I drive through that Victorian countryside Blinky on the way down, man, it was dry. And even across the Nullarbor, I've been across it many, many times. I've never seen our country as dry as it was when we drove past there in November. Staggeringly dry. And it's particularly through what is the food belt of Victoria. That was just terrible. You know, a lot of the bush roads, there was just sand blown across the road because nothing was holding the soil down. Well, no, boiling doesn't remove chemicals, but if you're catching rainwater, there is no chemicals in them. That's my point. You're only killing bacteria. So do you catch any of your water, hammers, up there at all? Because you get plenty of it.
You finished?
Yeah, I think so far.
Yeah.
I've finished, righto.
Just because where you're going to put your
Yeah.
battery.
G'day, Early. One size fits any ass. I just couldn't imagine doing it. I mean, in the bush, I'd go and dig a hole, do my business and cover the hole up, but in a bag, nah, it's definitely not recyclable. It's a terrible life to live when you've got to do that. I mean, I've met people, refugees that came to Australia, they used to tell me about the conditions that they used to have, and it was terrible, like in the slums. But they'd be hygienic the best they could, not shit in a bag. Oh, we always use recyclable bags. In the boot of my car, there'd be about 10 bags. So we have no excuses not for having a bag with us. You can't get plastic bags in Western Australia. They're illegal. One of the best sand filters I ever saw, a guy in the US did. He used at the very bottom a charcoal filter. This was going into the house away from the tank. He had filters of going into the tank as well. But he had, first of all, it was sand on top, bigger pebbles, tiny little pebbles, and then charcoal. And yeah, he never had any problem with water. I mean, I don't know how many of you have actually gone down to a river, gone on your belly and just supped up a bit of water. I've done that plenty of times.
Oh, got to go to Walmart and get 3 Walmart bags, eh?
We don't have Walmart, JP.
Yeah, they charge you, I know, JP.
They do it here too. They do have plastic bags, but they're apparently degradable as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cost you 10 or 20 cents for a bag if you don't bring your own bags. Charcoal is probably one of the finest filters you could ever get. And there are all sorts of filters. You can buy them commercially. So, Elbo's going to the ranch. Is this vacation time, is it? I can just hear the song. Da, 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 da. Da. Well, he probably needs a holiday, Hammers. I mean, he stresses every day. He wakes up at 5, sleeps about 3 a.m. because he's too scared to sleep at night. It's a pitiful life. It's the one thing that I've known over the years of knowing him is that he just lives in abject poverty. No matter what money people throw at him, he has a problem, and it's his social skills, it's his interaction skills. He definitely has mental health issues, and yet people throw little bits of money at him and think that helps him. It actually makes him continue to live in abject poverty. If money would have fixed the problem, by now there would be a working air conditioner, there would be a fridge that works, there would be a floor on the bottom of the van, there would be all sorts of things to keep the van in pristine condition.
How about a toilet?
But it's a bag of shit.
Toilet first.
Well, there's not a toilet, there's not a shower.
Even our workers.
We call them cargo vans here.
Even our workers that are going to be building the back have a toilet.
Yeah.
To use. What should we call the TARDIS? No, we've got a portable toilet in the front yard.
Yeah, we have. We'll show you. During daylight hours, we've got a blue box like a TARDIS, but it's to go and take a dump in. Oh, I think the number one thing that's going to bring him down is not people, it's his health. He is morbidly obese, is unaware of anything to do with his health. I was led to believe that he was going to Mexico to get his teeth fixed. And then I saw a comment the other day saying he still hasn't had anything done with his teeth. Really? It's just sad, like I say. I mean, he's disgusting, he's vile, repulsive, all those things everyone would say. But he's still a human being, and he's living worse than people in a third world country, in America. Really. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I think his health will get him, buddy, before anything else. I mean, look, I'm 60 and my teeth are okay, and you have to pay to get things done. That's how it is. But at 37, I didn't have any blemish in my teeth. Kathy, yep, I know exactly how you feel. About 10 years ago, we lost our dog. She had cancer. She was 10 years old. And we had to put down, and that was very distraught for me. I was shattered. And we haven't really wanted to put another dog into our house since. But when we finish this house, we both decided, haven't we?
Yeah, but
that we'll get a dog, or maybe two.
I'll probably go to the rescue centre though.
It's worse than enabling JP. I mean, it's obvious he has mental health issues. No one really helps him at all. Money is not going to fix him at all. It's got nothing to do with money. It's lifestyle. It's hygiene. It's just the common sense stuff that he is unaware of. And if people think they're helping him by, and people use the word enable, I mean, if I said, I want you to name his friends, well, none of them are his family. His family don't want him. I've seen the videos of what Janet said, and she was meaning every word she said. So, I mean, he's not even good at being homeless. Is that a bit harsh? Do you know what I mean? He's not even very good at being homeless. It's a fantasy world.
Oh, it's just disgusting. Just the thought he drives around, parks anywhere, and doesn't have a shower or toilet in his van. That for a start is like, oh.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Kath. I think what it is, we've got dogs in our lives. Our daughter has 2 Chihuahuas, and our dog was a Chihuahua. And they're all over us. They love us to death. And it's good. But having your own dog is something special. And the wife was just saying we'll probably get them from rescue. Yeah, I mean, if you summarised the reality, he lives in a 30-year-old van that's not an RV, it's a cargo van. There's no toilet, there's no shower, everything's falling apart. So it'd be one of those things, if I had a van like that, it'd be on a property rotting on the back paddock, because it'd be useless to use.
You could make it into a chicken coop.
Yeah, turn it into a chicken coop.
Well, actually, Hamid,
Yes, you're right, Hammers.
no, I don't believe blood is thicker than water because sometimes family can be assholes and your friends are there more than your family. So I agree to disagree that blood is thicker than water because sometimes family do walk away and your friends don't, depending on the situation. So,
He just has nowhere to go, like someone saying he's going to the ranch with Rosie. Well, okay. But that's not a forever thing. And he just bounces along the bottom. Like I say, people give him these little bits of cash. Just allow him to live in abject poverty. He eats the worst food I've ever seen in my life. He has all sugary drinks. There's no doubt he's diabetic. There's no doubt he has visceral fat issues because he's morbidly obese. He will have heart issues, and yet he just ignores everything. It's like, it doesn't happen to me, it happens to everyone else. He's oblivious to reality. And there's, like I say, there's no alternative other than getting some work. Well, yeah, I think, well, I'm always honest when I say things. I think, I don't dislike Rosie, but I don't like what she does. You know, taking videos of homeless and deprived people on the streets and then earning money herself. That's just my opinion. That's why I don't go there anymore. I don't like that. But I haven't attacked anyone. I haven't said it. That's just me. I just turn my back on those sort of things. But in his case, he is worse than homeless because the homeless will, on occasions, make do with whatever they've got and try and get a little bit better. He doesn't try at all. He doesn't care. He doesn't wash for weeks on end. That's a health issue even if you lived in a home. But he lives in a van, a cargo van. And it may be cruel to say, but he is, for Rosie and other people, just video material. They don't give a shit about him. There are dozens of channels that talk about him and explain how bad he is, even though it's obvious, you don't really need to explain that. But to have no purpose, it stole my thunder, Joe, but to have no purpose in life at all. He's 37 or 38 now, he'll soon be 50. And his health, if he gets to 50, will be disastrous. And where will he be? I mean, he's looking for the easy ride everywhere he goes. Maybe he'll find an older woman that wants to take him in and,
oh my God, no.
you know, look after him and feed him, and all he has to do is sit on the internet all day.
Hey,
That's his ultimate goal.
He'll abuse them within an hour. That's not going to happen.
Well, we know that, because he hasn't got any social skills at all.
He just needs to blow up dollar or robot. It's the only thing, because that won't answer back.
I remember giving a homeless bloke, I had two $5 notes, and I leant down and said, there you go, mate. And he gave me $5 back. He said, no, $5's enough. What you just said, buddy. They have a little bit of, no, $5 is enough. That'll get me a feed today. So there is no pride in the man in the tin can because he believes what he says. And even though you'll hear people around him saying, no, he just puts on a show, he doesn't. This is the real thing you see. It's delusion of grandeur. There is this expectation of entitlement. And he, like I say, even with help from people, he lives in abject poverty. You could go to a third world country and the people will at least wash themselves. They may not eat as much and they have a little bit of pride in their shanty that they're living in and sweep the dirt floor even, but no. So, I mean, his health will take him.
I mean, we live better in the shed when we're looking after Mum.
Yeah. We lived in a concrete bunker.
Yeah,
It was clean, it was tidy. And like I say, I just know that his health's going to drag him down for sure.
I haven't actually tried a shawarma.
Well, the video I saw, it must have been early January, VMAC. It was an old guy, half on, half off the road. And there was a bit of a conversation. He didn't really answer. He was either pissed or drugged. And she just moved on. And then I noticed someone give her a $50 donation to go and get something to eat and drink. And I thought, that is probably the worst thing I've ever seen. You're filming destitute people, some obviously affected by drugs, alcohol, but a lot of people are just homeless. And if that's your content and you get rewarded for that content, I don't agree with it. If someone was going around and maybe leaning down to a chap and saying, look, I know where you can get a shower, and there's a certain place around the corner you may not know about, you can get a feed, like a documentary type thing, follow the guy around, he gets new clothes, gets a shower and gets a feed, that I would applaud. Do you see the subtle difference in what I'm saying? Is that if you're willing to take that type of video, why aren't you helping these people? We just came back from Europe, and JP could tell you the same thing. There are beggars and poor people everywhere, even more so in the UK and Germany. And yet I never filmed one of them. We helped a few of them, but we never filmed any of them. For me, that would have been the wrong thing to do. That's not content.
No.
That's taking advantage of disadvantaged people.
If you make it like a documentary, get an interesting story. That's what I like to see. Like people that do proper documentaries, and then they get help.
Yeah, that's exactly my feelings, JP, because if you're willing to help them, even with the basics, like some people that are on drugs have no idea where the even nearest needle clinic is. I would prefer a junkie to get clean needles. Am I encouraging his behaviour? No. I'm just hoping he doesn't take a shitty needle. And if there's a place where you know he can get clothing, we often take food down to, is it Vinnie's, this one here?
Yeah.
This local one that we found is Vinnie's. They feed hungry people. There are often a few homeless people outside. They get clothing for free, and just to help them buy blankets, sleeping bags, those sort of things.
Yeah, it's true, VMAC. They weren't competent. We can be the same. You can't zero in on someone. You've got to ask permission. We're always careful what we film or take photos of.
I think people, even in the US, are misunderstood. It's okay to film in public. It's not okay to film people up close. And even worse, if you think you can just walk up and start talking to them. In Australia, you can't do that. I'm sure you can't do that in Canada without their consent. Even if you're in a restaurant, you're filming people. You've probably seen quite a few of us, our videos where we sat down and had meals. All you would have seen is us and the meal. I think it's wrong to film anyone else.
If you did have one of the waitresses on there, she gave permission. She wanted to be on in one of them.
Mm-hmm. But like I say, if you're going to film destitute and homeless people for profit, you need to have a real big rethink about what you're doing, because each one of us could be that destitute or homeless person. Life hits you in the face sometimes. I've met people that are homeless that you wouldn't even believe. Architects, engineers, just because they've had tragedy in their lives and they've been into drugs and lost their wife, their kids, their house, the car, and they're on the street. Does it make them a bad person? No, it just means they took bad choices.
And you've got some homeless that choose to live like that. But they let you know.
Yeah, used to be an old guy where I used to live when I used to go fishing. Old guy in a big, like, Mac coat and jumpers, and there was a big rockery along the beach, and he used to tuck in little bits and pieces like food in a little bag and smokes and things, so you never steal his stashes. But that's how he lived. He didn't want to live in a house.
Yes, Big Brother's watching, hey Hamid?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think everywhere we go, we could be traced by camera. Yeah, no, it's not. Just because you're in public doesn't mean you have carte blanche right to film everything. That's not true. Yep, that's right. I've seen it. We've had film sets in Australia where they say, if you are walking down the street at this particular time, you may be captured on film. If you don't wish to be, between the hours of 10 and 12, don't be there.
But I'd be the sort of person that would go down at that time and go, I'm here. I'd be waving. Where is it? I'm here. Hello.
it doesn't matter where you live or your circumstances. If you've got a little bit of pride in yourself, you'll keep yourself clean, you'll do the best you can. You might do it hard, and they're life lessons. There's something that happens to most people at one stage. I was basically homeless until I was about 16. I did a lot of my education later in life through circumstance, but when it boiled down to it, I did it tough, and I just, bit the leather and put up with it. That's how it was. I think it makes you stronger when you can make the best of what you've got. It's like saying as you get older you improve your circumstances and your finances, but there are many of us that have been down that track where you've had nothing. But like I say, I do not like people taking advantage of disadvantaged people for profit. So if anyone asks me why I don't go back to that particular channel, that's the reason. I don't go to any channel now that has a dollar sign on it, because that's my personal choice. Follow the dollar signs, watch the shit shows. If anyone can prove otherwise to me, I'll go to that channel. But I haven't found one that has a dollar sign where it's not turned into a shit show. Arguments, fighting, jealousy, anger. Trust me, follow the money, find the shit.
There goes 55. There goes bus.
We have a different policy in Australia. We won't allow illegals to come to Australia illegally. We have agreements with 3 or 4 different countries where they go sent there, and if they meet a criteria, they may indeed become settled in Australia, but very few do. We turn back the boats.
But you still get the odd ones that do get through.
Mm-hmm. When I was in my last year of being a prison officer, we had 36 or 38 Iraqis which landed in the north of my state. They went straight to prison, and it took about 18 hours, and half of them were already shipped back to an airport and flown back, and the next day the rest went. So we have a no tolerance policy. But if any of you, my dear friends, if you could name one channel that has any form of collecting money on it at all, where there's no shit, there's no fighting, there's no bitching, tell me, and I'll go there, because I've never found one. Well, we have the best protection in the world. I mean, we've got the roughest seas, we've got more sharks than anyone else, and when they do get to dry land, it's 45 degrees Celsius. And they probably thought, maybe we shouldn't have come here. Maybe we should go to Canada.
Well, it's not even
just kidding.
It's not even the wildlife that could kill you here. Do you know we have a deadly plant, and it's called the suicide plant? It's mainly around Queensland, but they're trying to get rid of it. And why is it called a suicide plant? Because if you brush up against it, the pain is so bad that it drives people insane. You should Google it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like the same pain if you drink Foster's. That'll kill you. I was waiting for someone to say that, VMAC. I need $500 to get away from Palm Beach, and I need to go to Disneyland, actually, but if you can make it $1,000, we can stay in classy accommodation. Look, your petrol prices or gas prices are cheaper than mine. If I could get a gallon of gas, I could get at least 10 to 15 miles inland away from a hurricane. That's it. I don't need $500. But you'll see the bullshit, I'm sure, VMAC. There'll be people raising money who they don't even know, saying, oh, they've got a dog and a cat, and they've got no money for gas, and they need to go to Paris for the weekend. Can you please donate now? Not a fucking hope. Blinky would never stick a hand in a pocket for something like that. I would never do that. It wouldn't happen. But there are gullible people who say, oh, I'm thinking of the dog or the cat. Not worried about the people, so I'll give the $500 to make sure that dog is saved. Really? People are going to try and screw you for money on YouTube like you've never seen, I imagine, in the next week or two. I'm sure it started now, though. I mean, the people saying, we need to get away.
Oh, Johnny P, you're not up to date on the hurricane. The last 2 days, we've been sitting there.
No, he's just being pithy. He wants some money for his holiday.
Okay, JP.
Kapan kun for the money. Thank you very much. I'd even send JP money for a food for the week that he's in, where he's going. And it'd only be about $50. He'd eat like a king. Yeah, I don't even believe in communities. People say there's a drama community, there's that community, there's that. I don't believe in that at all.
You see what Johnny wrote?
Woohoo, 3,000 baht. Yeah, you are loaded.
We're going to buy a lot of rice with that one, JP.
Actually, you could get a meal of around 30, 40 baht a day. That's a month's food for you. I love the markets over there. Not you so much, is it? You're not real keen.
No, I like the markets, but not the meat or
She doesn't go near the meat or
No,
fish
I
section.
will
I disappear
not.
down there. Love it.
will not go to the meat and fish market. No way.
Yeah, I think you're right, Katie. That's probably what I'm trying to say. It's not so much a community, but a group of people who are cliquey. 1 week they love you, and next week they hate you. It's like watching schoolyard girls at 14 forming like little groups, and then they decide to pick on one. It's just like that.
Yeah, I like markets, JP, but not the meat market. Not when they sort of just sit up under the tent and the smell.
I'll go down with her chopping up
and
pigs and
fish. Ugh.
fish. I love it. This one, she disappears into the fruit section.
I'll go to the fruit section, fruit and veg, and like knickknacks and clothes and that, but not the meat or fish. No.
I tell you what I've surmised is that there's a lot of this. How do I describe this? There's a lot of big egos from small people. People who believe there's something they're not. There's self-importance. And then some people get behind them, and then they even believe it even more.
Are you sick, Blinky? Have you got a cold or something? Have you got the flu, Blinky?
She's always got a chest of something going on. It's only an e-cigarette, Blinky. Yeah, you believe that, don't you?
Oh, yuck, JP. I used to have a pet bat.
I would eat anything if I was hungry. If it happened to be curried bat, well, so be it. I seriously would eat anything. Wouldn't worry me if I was hungry. I'd flavour it up. But there's a lot of people with these self-belief. I mean, a great example is Mallory. Mallory used to be, years ago, witty and humorous. Seriously. I know it's hard to believe. But now she's turned into obnoxious, vile, chasing the e-begging dollar. That's all you can put it down to. That's my summary.
Oh,
Mallory used to be humorous and witty, but now is vile, obnoxious, and chasing the e-begging dollar. That's it. You don't have to summarise it anymore.
That's not good, Blinky.
What you got?
She's got the flu and now it's turned into mild pneumonia.
I'll get the Vicks out, mate. I mean, there are no stars on the bottom of YouTube. No one. If someone's got 5,000 subscribers, that does not make them an international celebrity. I'm sorry. Yeah, I heard that, buddy. I know there's reports of a lot of these Chinese cheap e-cigarettes that have been causing terrible havoc.
Yes, Blinky. look after yourself.
No, I
okay?
don't have any tolerance either. And like I say, I've even gone one step forward. People with the dollar sign in one form, be it PayPal, be it Super Chat, be it whatever, I don't go there. Because invariably, all those channels, there's not one exception, have arguments, bitching, carrying on, and it just goes round in circles. And then you'll have other channels start a video up about that channel, and then that one starts that one. And it's all to do with the dollar. No one can convince me otherwise.
So, Blinky, you on antibiotics or anything? Are they giving you anything for it?
Depends if it's bacterial. I had twice bacterial pneumonia. Once it nearly finished me off. I don't even see gender hammers. I know what you're saying. I mean, I must be honest that since I've been on YouTube for many years, men that happen to put on wigs for whatever reason make nasty women. Is that a fair statement? Not all of them, but a lot of them. I don't see gender. I don't have an issue with gay, lesbian, whatever. I don't care. But when someone, sometimes people stick on a wig and become obnoxious and just an arsehole, it's not their gender. It's just the fact that they're obnoxious and they are an arsehole. Gender has nothing to do with being an arsehole.
Antibiotics and a steroid. Oh, well, you just make sure you keep yourself rugged up and well. Yeah, I better go in a minute.
JP's stirring you up, VMAC.
Hey?
JP's stirring VMAC. Wants her to click on the link to donate.
No, excuse me, Super Chat. We're going to America next year. Don't worry about JP.
That would never happen.
We
But-
know, I'm joking.
Like I say, when I speak this logic, and I believe it's logic, if you could find me a channel where there are donation links and there is no arguments or problems or fights or bitchiness, I'll go there. But there isn't one. Remove the dollars and speak to people. I believe we treat you like, mates. We catch up, I have a bit of a chat. There's no expectations on either side. That's it. That's the reason I went on to social media, is just to catch up with people. I've met a few people. We've met two of the people in this room right now in real life, and they're good people. So there are no expectations of a dollar sign. That's the big difference.
JP.
If I took VMEC out for lunch and we had a coffee and we had a great time and she's just about to get up and leave and I'd say to VMEC, what about a $20 tip? You wouldn't do that in real life. Why do it online? And you hear people say, oh, it's just a tip, it's just me saying, oh, I enjoyed your company. Well, if you enjoy my company, you don't have to pay for it. That's my point. I'm not, and I'll reiterate, never stop helping people, genuine people. That's not what I'm saying. Help them. But not all this nonsense that's on YouTube is not genuine.
JP wants money for his stripper fund. Oh, that's what
I reckon if I
said.
got JP a decent stripper, I'd probably die of a heart attack.
And you remember the time that some
Or his
woman
wife
came,
would cave his head in with an axe, one of the two.
a woman came up to you. They wanted you to do like a full Monty for a remember in Geraldton.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
wanted you to be a stripper for a girls' night.
yeah.
You chicken, you wouldn't do it.
Nah. I'm embarrassed, actually. Women wanted me to strip for a hen's night. No, that's different, Hammers. If I went to your bar and we had a good laugh and a good time, yeah, I'd leave a tip. Totally different, you know what I mean?
And for the waitresses
But-
or whatever,
But,
yeah.
but if I took you out to coffee, Hammers, and we're sitting down at the end, I ask you for $20, that's not going to happen.
Honestly, he was asked. There was a group of women. I don't know where we were. We were out somewhere. Oh, he knew some of them.
Yeah.
He knew them because of working in the prison. And then another time.
I'm a bit old for it now, though, JP.
And another time, people. That was he. Asked you to be Santa Claus.
Hmm.
They wanted seats to be Santa Claus.
So now I've been, years ago asked to strip for a day's night, and now I get asked to be Santa at a primary school. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, it's actually funny. It's like where I used to live, which I didn't realise there was a madam lived in the bottom house when I lived in Burswood.
Yep.
And she asked if I wanted a job, and I didn't realise what she was talking about. I thought like a secretary's job, and she was actually a madam who ran a brothel. Maybe we've had some weird approaches.
We've got lesbian friends, we've got gay guys, and like I say, I'm only mentioning that, but I don't look at their gender. They're just friends.
Yeah, I should have.
Gender for me is irrelevant. It's your character, it's your personality, it's what you bring to the table as friendship. If you're demanding, oppressive, and just obnoxious, I want nothing to do with you, whatever you are. But like I say, the reason I come on every now and then, and with my wife, we just want to chat, and on occasions we catch up. We've met recently Mel, who lives not too far away from us. She's a lovely lady. We've met JP, we've met Blinky, and it's just because we've been in the area at the time. It's not been like forced. We haven't flown over to see JP. But the point of the matter is that they are what you see in the chat. They are what they are in real life. That's how they are.
Okay, Ben.
So they're real people.
Enjoy your curried carrot salad.
All right, see you later, VMAC. Yeah, we've got a couple of gay guys. They're funny as. We used to live next to them, but...
They're in England right now.
Yeah.
They're on holidays.
But like I say, I don't like... And Blinky's identical to us. We don't like pretentious people. Something they're not. You know what I mean? Yeah, we could always like to go back and clean our past, buddy. But it's not possible to scrub that. That's what it is. But that's the reason we come on. I'm not after a crowd of 10,000 people. I'm not after money. We like to interact with people, and on occasions we meet them. None of it's forced, and none of it's like demanded and you'll be here. And no, none of that. It's only circumstances that we've met. Yeah, look, I only see, if you want to say, do I don't see gender? Well, I do in one aspect. I see exactly what you just said, Hammers. If my perception is it's a girl, that's what I think. It's my opinion and my perception. If it's a boy, it's my perception. If someone tells me that I want you to call me Kevin, even though my name's Sally, and I don't really know you, I'll be saying, well, I actually won't be calling you then because I want nothing to do with you. You're a dickhead. So it's other people's demands that I won't meet. My perception is what I see, and no one has the right to change my perception. Oh yeah, no. It's been the last 2 years, buddy. You've been around long enough, CJ, to understand what I'm going to say. Is the last 2 years have been horrendous. There's so many people wanting money ahead of friendship. And if you're in the channel with the request is only for you to get money off you, don't be there. I just don't go. So I've made a decision not to go to channels that have any form of collection. I don't dislike Tucker. I don't dislike Nicole. Don't think that for a minute. I just find the disdain in having that money being collected. So I can't go to their channels and not go to other channels. So universally, I don't go to any channel that has a $sign. And that's for me. That's not for you guys. You do what you please. But that's my decision. And I don't have any grief now. There's no one going on and carrying on and bitching and moaning and I only got $20. What's going on? So yeah, I just have to make that decision for myself. And I don't have any places I go now that I'm uncomfortable and feeling like I've got to put my hand in my pocket.
Yes, I go to Nicole's. I go where I want. I watch Nicole.
Hmm?
And go there. Yes, Ladyboys, JP, I agree. There's some beautiful ones.
Oh, we met this one. There was about a group of, they were in groups all the time, JP. We met one. She was sitting down. I say she. It was a ladyboy, but had the most beautiful blue eyes, didn't she?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So yeah, I'm not into ladyboys, by the way, but I can understand when I see beauty, and she was very beautiful.
Yeah. I bet she's that big.
It was only due to circumstances that we didn't meet Nicole. It was just a late decision that it couldn't happen, but we would have.
Yeah. And we might go back. Well, I want to go back. But when
Yeah, I can imagine you don't notice the eyes, JP. Kind of guy you are.
I want to do
You're more
US,
looking at their fingernails. That's the sort of guy he is.
do the US first and then might go back to England.
We'll definitely spend a lot more time in Ireland. So, like I say, if you think about what I said about the last 2 years, you've all been around long enough
Yeah, there's your knees, lady.
to understand what I'm saying. The last 2 years has just seen a flood of people demanding money, and with that flood of demand and entitlement has come nothing but arguments, bitching, nasty, everything. It's like a whole bowl of nasty, and it's been in the last 24 months that it's just exploded.
Cibadella, right?
Good morning, Mrs. Eads. Are you in protective custody? Well, I see your silhouette next time. Yeah, we're in protective custody? Yeah.
No, he's got a, confession booth.
Yes. You come here today to confess, Elabella. What are your sins? No one else here can read your text. Just me. I'll just change the mode. There we go. Only I will see your confession. See, I don't have an issue with gender. So if I see someone who looks like a man in the wig, I'll still bite my tongue and call them whatever they want me to call them. But my perception is that they're a man in a wig. Now, Nicole looks like a female, so my perception's different. But it's not that I'm thinking of gender, because one thing people always get confused about, your sexual orientation has nothing to do with your gender. Just because you're a man means you might actually like men.
How you going?
And if you're a woman, you might like women. So gender is not a sexual side of things. Just because someone's female, she might want nothing to do with a man. It's totally different. Is Vinny here?
Yeah.
G'day, Vinny. How you going, mate? You're giving the nurses hell, I imagine, by now. Not doing what you're fucking told.
I tell you,
Sneaking food in.
your face is looking good because you got that razor.
What did he get?
That razor. You saw it.
Oh,
You'll do it now.
But yeah, so the reason I get online and speak to people is just have a yak, catch up. Don't expect anything.
Well, that's
And don't ask me for anything because you're not getting it.
so your touch. You mean feeling in your hands and toes, is it, Vinny?
JP, 11, I've got to hit the snake. See you later, be good, and pay your taxes. There you go, mate. Take one of them home, and I'll send a box full of them tomorrow.
All right. See you, JP.
He's got to get his beauty sleep. He must be hitting the water by now, Vinny. Hydrotherapy. Whatever you do, Vinny, don't get out of the pool with a heart on.
Oh,
Because most of the people that do the hydrotherapy are going to be blokes.
stop it.
So I want you to think of rusty cans while you're in the water. Or cutting your finger, things like that. That'll take your mind off it.
And you got licorice all sorts. And I was sitting there eating the whole box, weren't you, Vinny?
That'd make him shit, licorice. My goodness.
I'm taking. So what's the music therapy, Vinny?
He's going to be singing. You got a long road ahead of you, Vinny, but I'm sure you're going to punch as hard as you can. You're that kind of bloke. No backward steps. get the best of what you can out of your body.
Well, yeah, I like listening to music. Different music means things. For 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, I've had two mates that have had strokes, and one fully recovered, didn't miss a beat. He did have a problem with going to the toilet for about a year, but that's something that happens. And he got past that. Another guy never got back the feeling in a couple of his fingers, but he got use of his hand, his wrist, his arm. But it's retracing new memory cells, nerve endings. It's walking like a baby again. I'm sure you're fully aware of that, Vinny. It's like starting again in some things. But if you're determined and you want something to happen, you'll make it happen. He's going to have to watch his food now. I mean, he'd be the first one to say he'll still be bad, but he'll be aware of what he's got to do.
The music helps you relax and sort of like meditation, maybe, Vinny.
Well, it could be to do with voice, because your vocal cords get all fucked up as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're going to be a singer.
I reckon by the time Vinny sounded, he'll sound like Shania Twain.
No, he'll be Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart, raspy, sexy voice, you reckon?
Yep.
Righto.
Oh, what's the other singer?
Tom Jones?
Not Tom Jones. Oh, I can't think of the other male singer.
Well, it was explained to me by a neurologist that we only use a very small portion of our brain, and a lot of people on YouTube use very little of it, but we have so much that we can use and we can relearn.
Celine Dion, no.
Every
No.
night in my dreams.
Alabama. No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Oh, I can picture him.
AC/DC.
No, he's...
Yeah, that's a good song for you, Vinny. Highway to Hell. You've been down to hell and back? Highway to Hell.
singing Italian.
What this neurologist told me, he said it might sound a bit strange, but he says if you've never played a musical instrument before, and I give you a guitar, and you have no idea, he said that's what's like rewiring of the brain into parts of the body that have failed, meaning that you have to learn something you've never done before. And I get it, I got it then. I realised what he meant is that you might be given something and then it gets taken away, and to relearn something, and in your brain it says it's new. It's just like playing a guitar if you've never played a guitar before.
Barry White.
You have to start at the beginning and work your way through. Barry White?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think Vinny's going to be Barry White.
I have to go in. My phone's about to die, and I'm going to have my chocolate chip muffin.
It's very common. People don't realise. Vinny would know by now how common strokes are. It's staggering. My country alone, let alone every other country.
Yeah, we like different sort of...
Yeah, we love music.
Yeah,
I've been looking at one of them, because I'm not technically advanced. Vinny might be able to help me out here. Vinny, you know these boxes you can buy? And for something, you can somehow go from your phone to the box. Not one of those things you stick in your phone, but like a Bluetooth, I think it's called, isn't it?
yeah.
I want to get one of them for the back patio when it's finished, so we can just go out the back and click on my phone and listen to some good music. We have all the ability to learn how to play the guitar. Now, I will be getting one shortly. I've had guitars all my life, but my grandkids have always ridden them like they're rocking horses, so they've always been destroyed over the years. You know, you think, oh, I shouldn't, and then you say, grandkid says, can I just play it? And then next thing you turn around, they're riding it and breaking the handle and the strings, bing! I said, that's not how you play the guitar. Get off. So I'll get a good acoustic guitar, little amp, and I may do some videos and show you. I may not. I might just be a selfish prick and not show you.
Of course you will. What do you mean you're going to get an amp as well? You're going to start a band.
No, just a little acoustic amp. I don't think it's an addiction, it's where you go, buddy. I'm fully aware that people treat YouTube as a social interaction. The bit I don't understand, because it's in my nature, inherently, is that I don't go somewhere where I'm uncomfortable, I don't feel welcome, or it's not for me. I wouldn't keep going back, is what I'm saying, and that's what I've been doing lately. But there's nothing wrong with chatting to people. Like I say, I am going to get another computer shortly, and I'll be getting CJ up and Hammers, and we'll just have a yak. And they can divulge or not divulge whatever they want to about real life stuff. Their likes and dislikes, their musics, that sort of thing. Not to get you up there, rag on you, or attack people. That will never happen on my channel. It won't happen. Will we ever talk about the Tin Can Man? Probably. Probably, you know, his funeral date and how he passed away because of the excessive gluttony. But it won't be anything that we'll concentrate on. So, other than that, I just want people to come up and say good day and, you know, talk about their lives, what they like to eat, what they like to grow, stuff like that.
And I asked, how's the house coming along? We've got a heap of sand out the front that'll be moved around the back.
We're having about 200 tons of sand to lift the new building up to the height of the old, so it's a lot of sand.
Yeah, Vinny does do good graphics.
It's going to be, because we're doing a lot of finishing work ourselves, it won't be until February, March that I could say to you, we're just about finished. But the main part of the building will be up in about 3 months. But there's lots of internal work. There's painting, there's skirting, there's fixing, put new kitchen in, polishing floorboards, sanding back windows. Any of you want to come over for a couple of weeks? I do like listening to some of the older music, like concertos, I must admit. Not all the time. I do like listening to them. I like meditation. We often go to bed and we'll turn on a little bit of comedy, like there's a couple of old radio shows we like, we'll listen to that. I don't have a preference for music, I just don't like rap. It just doesn't have the rhythm for me. I understand the on-street protest songs and all that, but rap, I don't like it.
I've got to go plug my phone in. I'm going in.
You going in? I'll be in shortly. You better say goodnight to your peoples.
I was going in. I have to plug my phone in.
You have to come here closer, they can't see you.
Kiss for everybody. And love yous. If it wasn't raining, I'd take yous for a gooch. What is it? Is that how you say it? Cooch. Cooch.
Walk around. Walk about. I often find myself I'll just be sitting and I'll start singing a song just because you feel like it. And then sometimes I'll find a YouTube karaoke version of a song I like and I'll sing to that. I've done a few over the years. I think singing is a great expression. No, I'm not a singer. I like singing. There's a big difference. But I don't think music is anything that a rhythm. It relaxes you. Hello, Susan. It gets you motivated sometimes. There are certain songs that can motivate you. But life's too short for me to go down to these rooms that all they want to do is argue and point sticks at people, and if you're going to stand on your own 2 feet and say I have sort of things that I accept and don't accept in life, and there are certain things I no longer accept off YouTube because it's wasting my time. I'd rather spend what have we been on here? A couple of hours. We've had this chat going, and we've caught up with a lot of good people we like, and just had a chat. And like I say, in the future, it won't just be me talking. I'll get people up, but only a couple at a time. I don't like panels of half a dozen or 10. That's just ridiculous. We've all got so much to offer in regards to life experiences, whether there are things we like or dislike, foods, wines, places we've been. We all got a story, and I'm more interested in that story than arguing, bitching, and particularly chasing the e-begging dollar. So that's why I don't go to those channels. I don't hate anyone. I'm just not willing to waste my time listening to that nonsense repeated, recycled every day. And unfortunately, that's all I see. I just see a repeat. It's like rinse, wash, hang it up, put it back, rinse, wash, put it back. I'd rather spend a little bit of time with people, not for 8 or 10 hours, that's never going to happen, and chat. And I'm happy to sit back and listen to Hammer's story, Buddy's story, anyone. But not... Yes, I did. I said hello to Susan. She's my wife's bossy little bugger. But I get more reward out of something like this. No, there's not 500 people here. But if there were 500 people here, because I would be attacking Buddy and having a go at Susan, and then there'd be 500 people watching, picking sides over nonsense. So I never want 500 people. I'd rather sit down with you guys around a campfire, have a yak, probably have a quiet drink every now and then, and just talk. We have so much, like I say, each of us are a story, and we've got it to tell. You may not want to tell your whole story, but there are parts of your life that you're willing to share with others. That is the biggest thing you can give people. Not money, it's your time. And I will always believe that. Money you can make again. Time you can never get back. That's why I don't waste my time anymore. I came to the decision that I think it's the right thing to do for me. It's not go to any channel that has a collection of any form, for whatever reason, because it just follows that when that occurs, anger, hatred, bitching, then all these other channels pop up and talk about people and carry on, and it's like, no, I'd rather spend an hour or two talking to Buddy about life experiences than spend 5 minutes in a channel that's just arguing about things, bitching, and asking for your money. On that note, I'm going to go inside as well. Thank you for being with us tonight. I've enjoyed it. I hope you can come back sometime. And like I say, the wife keeps pushing me, get a new computer. So I'll probably get one, might get one next week, and we will have the small panels. And I trust all the people that have been in our rooms, I've trust them, so I'm not technically advanced, but he can help me out in that regards in the future in safeguarding the channel. But what the truth of the matter is, I'd rather spend, like I say, time with people that are willing to share their story than their money. It's just me. There's a lot more I can get out of that. You can give me $50, but that goes pretty quick. And when you give someone $50, more often or not, I want you to keep giving. If you give part of your story, it will stay with me forever. But he tells me a story about whatever happened at a certain time. I have a very eclectic memory. I remember just about everything. It's a curse, trust me, it's not a blessing. All right, Blinky, we'll catch up with you all good people at another time. Wherever you are, I hope you have a great day. I hope the people in harm's way in regards to that hurricane can be safe. And if someone tells you to move your ass and get out of the area, just do it. Don't be a dickhead. Anyway, have a great day or night wherever you are, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.